Tammy is here today to tell us about how she has gone from being completely healthy to now being on 15 prescription medications and 10 supplements per day.
The uniqueness of what this does compiles one thing on top of another thing on top of another thing. So it does seem kind of strange. I got to admit that it is. But
Yeah.
when you have this, your immune system is attacking you because it's trying to get rid of something that shouldn't be there. It can't find it, but it wants to get rid of it. So that's how one thing at a time, it attacks you trying to get rid of it. My heart says, I pray to God they find a way to treat us, to help us, to at least stop it or reverse some of it. I want to be someone who advocates for people like me. I want to comfort someone, tell them you're not alone. And I do understand because there's so many out there that don't get that.
Welcome to the React 19 podcast, where we bring awareness and support to the COVID-19 vaccine injured and discuss the science, research, and laws that affect all of us. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us again today. I'm Ann Forty, the host of the React 19 podcast, and today my guest is Tammy Hebert. Tammy is here today to tell us about how she has gone from being completely healthy to now being on 15 prescription medications and 10 supplements per day. Her journey begins back in March of 2021 with her first Pfizer vaccine. Tammy, thanks so much for being here today. And I just really want to take this time to have you tell your story, where you're at, where you've been, and where you see the future. So where I'd like to begin is to have you share what your life was like before the vaccine and what prompted you to get the vaccine.
Well, thank you for having me also, Anne. And before I had the vaccine, I worked as a kitchen and bath designer for a lumber company. And my life was very, very busy. I drove all over designing spaces for people. Some weeks I'd put 300 plus miles on my car for work, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I was completely healthy, no medical issues at all, active at work, active at home. And a lot of things have changed for me since then. When COVID showed up, fear for everybody also showed up. Um, and that's the biggest reason why I chose to get the vaccine. I think just about everybody around me was so afraid of the unknown. What was it really going to be like? What could happen? Um, just so many things that people didn't know about yet, or how it was going to affect everybody. And I heard a lot, aren't you going to get it? Aren't you going to get it? Aren't you going to get it? And I'm like, it's no big deal. I'll just get it and I won't have to worry about, hurting anybody else, coming down with it, making anybody sick. So I got it. And
And
that's just,
that was in March of 2021.
mhm.
And after that first vaccine, after your first dose, seemingly fine?
Yeah, I was. I was fine. Didn't seem to have any ill effects from it. Then I had the second one in April. And a month later is when my journey began. Um,
What were the
started
first
with
symptoms? What were the first symptoms that you noticed?
the very first thing that I noticed was headaches, lots of headache. Um, and my vision was, I had vision problems before, but they were worse. I have blurred vision, I have double vision, but it was much worse after the vaccine, and I had headache almost all the time. So that was the very first thing that I noticed. And after that, they got that under control. I went to the eye doctor as upon suggestion of my primary. And I did need a new prescription, and everything calmed down. It didn't seem as bad. But shortly after that, I started having joint pain. And at times it was extremely bad. And then the weird thing was it would start in one place, that would get better, then it would jump to somewhere else, and that would seem okay, and it would jump to somewhere else. So it was jumping all over my whole body. And then I was sent to a rheumatologist, tested for rheumatoid arthritis, and it showed a positive result. So I
And
started just visiting him on a regular basis.
okay, so at the time, did you ever think, I wonder if this has to do with the vaccine, or did that not come into your kind of consciousness at that point?
Not yet,
Okay,
honestly.
okay.
No.
So then what happens after the rheumatoid arthritis diagnosis?
Well, then I started having burning leg pain, weakness, numbness, um, which was very scary.
Mm.
Had no clue what was going on. Um, and my primary is fantastic. And I just have to say this because it's hilarious. So all as things progressed and she had to keep sending me places, she goes, "Well, I guess I'm driving the bus." So she sent me at that point on a hunt for a neurologist. Where I live, there's not much for specialty care.
Okay.
So I ended up at John Hopkins in Maryland, which they are amazing. So I went through quite a lot of testing there. Um, but even prior to that, I still had no inkling it was the vaccine yet.
Interesting. Had you
Um,
seen anything? I mean, I guess for those of us who, were kind of staying on top of this and the news and stuff and seeing all the injuries, had you, of course, we were all so censored. Everybody who was reporting on vaccine injuries was so censored that nobody heard about it. Because I was going to ask you, were you much on social media, or you certainly wouldn't have heard it on the news about people having adverse events?
yeah, I saw a little bit at that point, but not enough to really grab my
Yeah.
attention
Yeah, they did a great
until
job censoring.
they sure did. And it was actually a friend of mine that saw, I think it was a video um, by Dr. Klumbo, who is works with React 19.
Okay.
And I watched that and I said, whoa, he's telling my story,
Okay.
all these little things.
Okay, so was that after the neurologist? So you've gone from eye issues to arthritis to now to your legs burning, and now you're at a neurologist. What happens next?
That's when I saw that video, was right
Okay.
after making that appointment.
Okay.
And actually, I reached out to him and communicated with him via email quite a bit and explaining some things. He
Okay.
was such a nice person. And he told me what his opinion was, and he felt that it was the vaccine. And, um, but my journey sure doesn't stop there. And,
So what happens next?
well, while I was starting to be tested and treated and all this stuff for my nerve issues, I started having bladder issues. And while I was down at John Hopkins, my neurologist set up an appointment for me with the urologist down there. And after testing there, it was found that I have a condition called neurogenic bladder, where your bladder doesn't feel like it should. Like you go to the bathroom, but it doesn't function properly
Wow.
when you, yeah. So
So
I
all of
had,
these neurological things going on in your body.
yes, yes. Um,
So then you
uh,
so you have the bladder condition. Then at any point did you go back to your primary and say, "Hey, I think this is from the vaccine?"
I did. And, you know, no matter how great your doctors are, I think they need to be cautious and they actually probably need to protect themselves. And in my record, it states that I believe that I have a vaccine injury.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's what it says in all of the records.
Yeah. Well, especially because, back at the time, I mean, there was just such mass, basically propaganda saying, no, it's not the vaccine, and no, no, this is just misinformation, and this. I mean, in doctors, I mean, in some medical facilities, I mean, you knew, well, no, we can't say that, because otherwise we're not going to get this or we're not going to get that. And there was just such a push to get everybody vaccinated and stamp out any bit of vaccine hesitancy.
Right.
Okay, so now your bladder, what happens next?
Well, then I began having palpitations and lots of them. And it felt like it was choking me at times. So I went to my primary and she did a referral to cardiology for me. And they had me wear a Holter monitor for a weekend. And I was having over 12,000 premature beats a day.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So, so she put me on two medications, but before that, she had me do a stress test, which I could not really do. So after the medication, she had, me do it again, and the medication was doing its job. I only had one irregular beat for the test.
Okay. And so is there more after that?
Unfortunately, there is.
Okay.
Um, a little while in, I started the headache thing again, but way beyond a headache. I started having migraines, and uh, my neurologist at John Hopkins started doing nerve blocks. I was getting shots in the back of my head
Oh my
for
gosh.
relief, and it helped quite a bit.
Okay,
And
so like, did you have to travel like once a week, or did you give these shots to yourself, or how did that work?
they lasted 3 months.
Okay, so you'd go in, you drive there. How long of a drive was it?
It's a 10-hour drive, so we ended up flying most
Okay.
of the time.
Okay.
So we had all that
Wow.
travel expense too.
So that's another question. Was any of were obviously, if you thought you had an adverse reaction, then your doctor has a legal responsibility to report that to VAERS. It is there if they it doesn't mean okay this that it's just that you feel that you've had this reaction and they have a responsibility to report that to VAERS. Did your doctor ever do that or did you ever do that?
I did.
You did. Okay.
Mhm.
So you do have a record in there. And then were you aware at all of the compensation program? Did you file a CICP claim to get um, compensation, or did you even know that that existed at the time? In one way, it doesn't even matter because they've rejected 97% of the claims, but did you even know about that?
I had an inkling of it in my interactions with React 19,
Okay.
but I never did pursue anything.
Yeah.
No.
Well, because I think number one, it was quite complicated. Number two, everybody was saying they weren't getting anything anyway. So did your insurance cover any of this or any of the treatments you were getting? I mean, geez, between, the headaches and the eye issue and the rheumatology and um, the heart, then the bladder, and then the leg pains and, then the heart. I mean, what
My insurance is my insurance is excellent.
oh, well, that's good.
So they paid, I mean, I'd say the majority of all my care. Yeah, they did. But the travel, of course, was all
Of
our
course.
expense.
And
But
were you able to work?
no,
Yeah, so you lost all of your income, the income from being employed, which
yeah,
must have been quite a financial hardship right there.
very different circumstance that I was not used to.
Oh
I've
my,
worked for years. It's not when you
always
go
on the
from
road doing
that
the
to,
thing. Yeah.
yeah, it's tough. Um,
So what
yeah,
happens after that then? So you do the hard thing. Is is there more? I mean, do you still have more? I mean, this seems like could there really be any more?
unfortunately, I'm not done yet.
Oh
Um,
gosh. Okay, so you're getting nerve blocks for the migraines.
mhm, yep. I had to have, how you have your yearly exams as a woman?
Hmm.
Well, I needed to do that, and they found a large cyst that I needed to have biopsied and all those things because everything was abnormal. But thank God there was no cancer or anything like that. But that showed up. And then I also started having issues where I could not sleep.
Mm.
And I had a sleep study done. That was also in Baltimore. And I have apnea, so I got a CPAP. I mean, that helped my apnea, but it did not help me sleep. So I've been going through different testings and everything, and I was recently diagnosed with chronic insomnia. So that is really rough. You don't sleep very much, or you fall asleep and jump awake, or so that's really
Oh,
difficult.
that just makes that exasperates everything.
Yeah, the fatigue that I experience on a daily basis is hard. It's very hard.
And are you still
Um,
getting shots in your head for your migraines?
no, I see a neurologist in Burlington, Vermont, and he's a headache neurologist, and I have some medication for it now. I have a daily medication I take in the evening, plus I have one on hand that I can take if I start to get a migraine, and that does seem to be keeping things under control. So,
Okay, so I think you said you're on 15 prescriptions, 10 supplements. I would imagine being on all that medication, like, what does that feel like?
a little frustrating for one thing, because I was not taking anything before this. Um, but I've been doing this for not this magnitude of pills, but been on a lot of medication for about 3 years now.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I hate to say it, but I'm used to it. You get so used to something that's a repetitive thing every day. Uh, I
So
have
what?
had some,
Go ahead.
sorry,
No, go
I
ahead.
have had some pretty bad issues with trying different medications, and they did not agree with me. So we've had to try this and try that and jump around. Right now, things seem to be okay, where all my stuff is working fine together.
So at this moment, you can function. I mean, what does functioning mean? Does that mean you can walk, that you can work, that you can what is your life like now?
Well, no, I don't work. I'm actually disabled from all of this. Driving is a pretty much a no-no. Also, I only drive locally. 6 miles is about the max as far as I drive. I drive right here in town. I don't trust myself. And the doctor, even my sleep doctor, even said extreme caution because of your chronic fatigue, you know. So I don't drive very much at all. Um, and my sleep interrupts a lot of things, or my migraines interrupt a lot of things. Just every single thing can throw my whole day off. So it depends what thing is bothering me today. But I do have good days. I really do, where I feel pretty good. And it's nice that I can say I feel pretty good. And walking is an issue. I walk with a limp, and on one side of my body is weaker than the other side with less feeling than the other side. So I use a cane. Um, Mostly when I go out. Uh, but I've had instances where it's really bad and I've used a walker. And if I go somewhere where there's going to be a really lot of walking, I can't do that. I use a wheelchair. Yeah. So
Where are you at kind of emotionally, psychologically with all this? Where, I mean, what what keeps you going?
emotionally, and all those things have been a huge hurdle to overcome.
I'm sorry, say
I've
that
had
again.
been a really big hurdle for me to
Okay.
overcome. I've had my share of anxiety from this. I've had depression from this. Um, it just changes your whole life, and it feels like it changed it in an instant,
Right.
which I know it didn't, but that's sure how it felt. Um, I'm on medication for it. I've had to try a few things, do a few things. I'm on a couple different kinds, and that's leveled out uh, my panic attacks and my depression. Those things are more under control where I feel better that way. Um, I forgot your second question.
Just how have you not given up?
My faith is a huge, huge part of that. I'm so thankful that I have a relationship with God, because if I didn't, and I didn't trust and believe that there's a purpose for Him allowing this in my life, that would make this much harder. Because I firmly believe that what I'm going through now is going to help somebody else, that I'm going to be able to help somebody else because I understand what it's like to be where I'm at. And if someone else is suffering and doesn't understand why or where it came from, or we've all been there and done that who have this problem, um, my heart is to help them if I can, to share what I'm going through, what I've been through, to maybe give them a little comfort or shed a little light in their situation.
Well, and I think one thing I want to talk about is I know you have a ministry. I think it's Empowered Connections, which I don't know. I'd like, you to share a bit about that, what the mission is and how did that all come to be?
Mission is to mentor, to minister, and to make a difference in lives of our community and individuals. Um, that has always been a heart for me, to help people, to walk alongside people, and to make a difference. And that's exactly how I feel in this instance. And I think that's another reason why I know God chose to allow this in my life, is so that I can use something that, the enemy meant for bad for something that is good. We started it, a bunch of us, to it's basically to reach out to the community and help in ways that um, maybe they're lacking for some people, or um, just to be someone they can talk to or come to, or seek a place that they can learn where to get help that they need. But it's grown to more than that. We've kind of shifted gears, and when a friend of mine joined uh, our organization, she had a heart to make twin size quilts for foster kids.
Oh, wow.
So that's the main goal and the main purpose that we have right now. And we've grown to where we have 13 volunteers that sew. And on a monthly basis, we donate 5 quilts that
Wow.
we make and give to our local Department of Social Services. And where we live, that might not sound like a lot, 5 kids a month, but it really is. We live in a small place. So that's pretty sad actually, and there's times we could donate more because we have other people now that don't come and sew with us, but they sew at home and donate them
Oh,
to us.
okay.
Yeah.
So
So
do you actually get together to sew, or people are sewing at their homes and then um they're making them at home? I mean, or do you actually all, okay, we're gonna have a week of sewing here. How does that work?
yeah, actually we get together every Thursday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the bunch of us that can make it, we get together on Thursday and we have our little get together and we all work on the same quilt together.
Wow.
And yeah, it's just really nice. It's
And
really
where are
nice.
you located?
We're located right in Malone, in the town where I live.
And
Yeah,
what state?
New York,
Okay, so
Malone, New York.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So how close are you to Vermont then? Because you said something about I think a neurologist or somebody being in Brattleboro or
Burlington.
yes,
Yes.
Burlington.
We're about 2 hours from here.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're able to actually partake in that on Thursdays then?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. So how
I'm
is,
not one that can just say, yes, I'll be there every
yeah, I
week.
know every day is its own day. And,
Mhm.
I suppose in one sense, every hour is its own hour. It's like, okay, well, I think I'm going to do this, in an hour, but it all
Mhm.
depends. How has this affected your family?
Well, I don't get to see my kids and grandkids anywhere near as much as I would like. They are, they're young and they all work and the kids are little and their lives are really busy. And with my limitations of going anywhere, they have to come to me, which
Yeah,
is even harder. So I've had to accept that idea, and they are great about coming when they can.
right.
It's it was a big adjustment. Um, my my husband, I can't say enough about how supportive and wonderful he's been. Anywhere I gotta go, he takes me there. He even flies with me to Maryland when I go, just to make sure I'm okay and help me to do what I gotta do. So I'm very thankful for him. Uh, my siblings, my sister-in-laws. I mean, I'm very, very fortunate. I'm very, very blessed to have the family. None of them dismiss me or tell me that it's all in my head or anything like that. They all support me. And that's a wonderful thing because I've
Yeah,
heard stories of people that their
yeah.
families tell them, you're making it up or
It's
you
tragic. It's tragic.
it is, and they feel alone. And that just breaks my heart.
So they believe that this was caused by the vaccine?
At first, I don't know.
Okay.
Um, and I think for the most part, they do now.
Yeah.
They might get kind of, well, maybe yes, maybe no on certain things that are going on because the uniqueness of the what this does compiles one thing on top of another thing on top of another thing. So it does seem kind of strange. I got to admit that it is. But
Yeah.
when you have this, your immune system is attacking you because it's trying to get rid of something that shouldn't be there. It can't find it, but it wants to get rid of it. So that's how one thing at a time, it attacks you trying to get rid of it.
Yeah. Are you, I don't know, are you part of any studies? Are you part of, are you doing anything in particular to try to like detox out of this? Have you had any kind of testing that shows that you keep making spike? I mean, have you gone down any of that route at all, or has it just been managing the symptoms at this point?
No, I haven't done any of those things. It's been mentioned to me, but I'm kind of exhausting myself with just keeping up with
Right, I
what
understand.
this. So yes, and I love what you just said. Well, I don't love it, but I hear it all the time. Treating your symptom.
Yeah, you're just trying to manage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I've had doctors say that to me. Well, we're just gonna treat your symptoms. That's kind of hard to take sometimes.
yeah, yeah. So, where do you see, what do you think is ahead? Do you think that, we're going to have some breakthroughs, within, maybe the NIH or the FDA, where people will acknowledge what has taken place, and there's going to be some, hey, we've got some new treatments for those of you who may be experiencing this? Or do you think it's just going to continue on as it is?
But that's a good question. I, my heart says I pray to God they find a way to treat us, to help us, to at least stop it or reverse some of it.
Mhm.
I honestly don't know how to answer that.
Yeah, well,
Um,
maybe, well, nobody really knows. I did do an interview last week with, excuse me, Retsef Levitt, who is chairing, he's on the ACIP committee, and he's chairing the work group looking at COVID vaccines. And it was, I can send you the link. I'll put the link in the show notes in our interview here, where he's completely aware of everything that has taken place. He knows everything that's happened to the vaccine injured, and he wants to find answers. And so you can maybe have some consolation knowing that there's somebody actually, there are people in the government agencies that know what has happened and they want to do something about it. It's just a matter of finding you guys, because um, if you, for those, maybe you're, finding people in VAERS, or what about the people who never got in VAERS, or what are the people who are misquoted? There's many vaccine injured who are recorded as being unvaccinated when they actually were vaccinated. It's just like, okay, we need to find these people. And, there's such a constellation of symptoms. Your story is not unique in that you start with one thing and it's another. And 2 years later, oh my gosh, now there's heart issues and now there's this. And I think if we could have the same amount, it's not going to happen, but if there could be some sort of campaign that would say, hey, look out for these things, at least to the doctors, hey, please, if your patients have had these things, we're looking at this, please don't dismiss it. Please know that any of these things could occur. And so at least you feel acknowledged, and it's like, oh, okay. And, finding a starting place. So, hopefully there will be something coming in the future. Having lived through this for the last 4 years, what have, what has been your greatest take? Like, what have you learned the most over the last 4 years?
well, I have sure learned that life can change on a dime,
Mm,
but um, that it's so hard to make people understand what you're dealing with. People look at you, and on the outside, you look okay,
mhm.
but the storm is raging on the inside, and
I
people
hear
don't
that.
understand that. They just don't. And I understand why they don't, because to look at me, I
Right.
look okay.
Yeah.
You'd never know that I have this myriad of things going
Right.
on in my body.
I hear that
Um,
from every vaccine injured. Yeah, they don't see that I
yeah,
feel like I'm being electrocuted 24/7, or that my
yeah,
heart feels like I'm literally being choked, or you know, my limbs are burning. It's just, yeah.
yeah. And a lot of us all feel those exact same things. And it's sad. Um, I would, one of the big things I would ask people for is compassion, for
Mm,
understanding, for support. Um, those things are rare for a lot of people, and that just really breaks my heart. The
you're
biggest
right.
thing I have learned, I think, is I want to be that. I want to
Mm,
be someone who advocates for people like me.
mm,
I want to comfort someone, tell them you're not alone. And I do understand because there's so many out there that don't get that, that don't,
you're
they're
right.
not fortunate enough to have someone in their corner that says, hey, let me help you. We can handle this. We can do this. And it's so sad and it breaks my heart because I am blessed that I have that. But the stories I've read, the people I've talked to who have been dismissed, who have been forgotten, and all these things, I have learned a lot of things that just are not fair and are not okay. And it makes you feel helpless because you don't know how to help those people when you don't even know how to help yourself, you know? I don't even know what else to say, but it's so
Yeah.
sad and it really it's home.
Yeah. Well, it's very clear through your words and through your own ministry of empowered connections that this has been kind of your heart. I mean, I don't know if you've been that way your whole life, but that you've wanted to reach out and minister to those who need some help and you have this sense of I just want to throw somebody a lifeline, just to let them know, hey, we can do this. We can get through this. And I don't know what it's going to look like, but here, I'll walk with you. And I think that is an incredible message, just an incredible message. Is there anything else that you would like to say or add and let people know? Again, I'll put that the website in the show notes. I don't know if you have any place where people can follow you or if that's, where you would recommend people to go.
Yeah,
Um,
it is on Facebook and we have a website. If they want to do that. I am personally on Facebook, so they're
okay.
welcome to reach out to me that way. Um, yeah, I might not be able to change anything, but I have a great ear to listen.
Oh, that is so sweet. Yes, I am. I feel I'm very relieved to know that you have someone because obviously I do talk to people who've lost, they've lost their spouse. They've lost, they just couldn't take it anymore, or they've lost obviously their job. They've lost their entire life savings. Some people have lost their homes. And
Yeah.
it is a very, very tragic thing what has happened, and anyone who's willing to step up, like you said, hey, I'm here to listen. I'm just, you just want to be an encouragement. That is such a blessing, such a blessing. Well,
Thank you.
I thank you for taking the time today, and everybody go check out the show notes, see where you can connect with Tammy, and always check in with React 19 if you'd like to help donate in any way. Just know that anything that you give goes right back out to the injured, straight back out. You can just be where where Tammy has said, hey, I just want to be that ear. We all work, the body kind of works all together here. And if you just can, maybe you have 20 bucks, maybe you have $200, I don't know, but just know that we're a family here. We're a group of individuals who just wants to help other souls flourish as best as we can together. So thank you so much.
Thank you.